Odin came into my office as an urgent referral from a concerned friend. I knew he was in his 60s and had been having a hard go of it, but what I didn't know was that he had a rope in his bag, and that was supposed to be his last day alive. It's complicated. He was aging, his body was aching, and all of his life he struggled to feel cared for in his relationship with his mother. Even at that age, a mature man, he felt useless, powerless, and had no hope. It is complicated. I'm Dr. Andrew Blackwood, also known as Coach Drew, and I want to create a culturally relevant and trauma-informed program, a program that supports people dealing with suicidality, but also influences family culture so that every home in our community is a place of early suicide prevention. In the last 20 years as a mental health professional, I've seen a lot of frightening things, but I've also had personal experiences that have shaped the way that I address suicide and suicidality. For 18 months, I was experiencing brain fog, mood instability, slurred speech, and slow mental processing. And I was an addictions counselor, and I imagine many of the clients that I was meeting with, they thought I was high, but I promise you, I wasn't smoking anything. It wasn't until I dozed off at the wheel with my little girls in the back of the car that I knew I needed to get help. Something had to change, but I couldn't figure out what that thing was. I had been going to the doctors for 18 months and nothing was helping. It's hard to describe it, but the thought of ending my life was never concrete. I didn't have a clear plan or a picture of what I was going to do, but it was something that I felt, and that feeling scared me and requested a referral for a psychiatric consultation. And while I waited, I prayed. And while I prayed, I fasted. And while I fasted, I started to feel better. And it turns out that I was experiencing a non-celiac gluten sensitivity. I had no idea I was contributing to my own mental health crisis by what I was putting in my body. I told you, it's complicated. There are many factors that contribute to thoughts of ending one's life. Biology, family history, current family dynamics, grief, loss, a loss of income, unaddressed anxiety and depression, even substance use. But there's also a spectrum of suicidality from mild to acute. And it can begin early in childhood or it can begin later in life. Although it's complicated, there are simple ideas that we can employ to make this program culturally relevant and accessible. For starters, funding. We can generate crowdfunding. We want to be able to sustain these sessions that people need because one or two sessions won't cut it. The other approach is educational, creating resources that are accessible to people in the community before they need them by highlighting places of gathering where people can share this information, whether they're at schools, whether they're at churches, providing this information in advance to recognize the signs of anxiety, which usually gets these balls rolling long before they need the service. But the further people move along this spectrum, the harder it is to help them and the more costly it is. The number of factors at play is just one aspect that makes addressing and treating suicidality challenging. It also makes me hesitant to even forward this idea to you because there are no guarantees. It's impossible to cover everything, but I refuse to do nothing. I'd love your help to put this program together, this two-pronged approach to create a culturally relevant and trauma-informed program that supports dealing with suicidality, but also a program that influences family culture so that every home in our community becomes a place of early suicide prevention. By supporting this project, you will be helping people in our community so they don't face the complicated demands of suicidality alone, and so they don't wait until it's too late. Not being alone and not having to wait was precisely what helped Odin. By the end of our work together, he was connected to resources that he needed, and he was motivated to show up for the people in his life. He went from feeling useless to useful, from being powerless to being in control. He went from having no hope to recognizing he's a source of hope to the people in his life. I'm Coach Drew. This is what matters to me, and I look forward to hearing from you.